Well, hello guys, welcome back. Manifesting is a lot of ups and downs. I can tell you that right now because I got up this morning, I was feeling really crummy. I'm finding there's a lot of stuff we're still digging out. And remember I told you they kept giving me this image of the streets pretty clean, but now we gotta get all that scrubby, icky stuff that's stuck on, off, and that's kind of where we are. So I will start having all these highs and then, ugh. And it's the ego part of you that keeps coming up and saying, that's not gonna happen. Why are you working on this? Go home. Don't work on this. And I'm working a lot on it. And I'm getting tiny consistent things, like the little wolf arrived today. It's Wednesday, so happy Woden's Day. And the wolf arrived, and I left an honest review, which I'm finding the more I work with Odin, I'm loving but firm with people, and people are really not liking it, but too bad. I said it is as described. It is, but it was squished into a small mailer, which it was. It was squished into a document mailer, and the mailer arrived ripped. So I'm like, I'm giving you a positive review, but I want you to know you could have done better because there's no reason for what they charge. They charge like $6 or something to ship this, like $5.96 or something. I'm like, there's no way you paid $6 for the shipping on this thing because that's a free envelope. I know because I've used them. And that's, you pay whatever you did for shipping. You put a little extra in your pocket, so a little bit of the price for the item was into the shipping cost. And you have to watch for that on eBay. Like an item will be $1, and you'll be like, oh my god, ha ha ha. And then you go and you'll look at the shipping. The shipping's like $25, and you're like, what the actual hell? Are they gonna drive up in a horse-drawn carriage and you pay for it anyways because you're sure? Oh my god, $25, and you get this banged up package, and they just put the actual price of the item in the shipping. You have to watch it. It's not legal to do it on eBay, by the way. If you catch people doing it, you can report them. I'm not a narc, but I'm like, if you catch a seller doing it, you can go, hey, look what they're doing. So the wolf arrived, and since she was all squished, I unsquished her the best I could, and I did brush her because I brush everyone that comes in, and I sage them all because I'm just like, oh, she was pre-owned, and I don't know what anybody's life story was, and I don't know what's going on in the home. So this is the baby. She's filled with beans. She's a little fuzz butt. They look like this right when they're born. She's a little bit bigger than a newborn because they're about the size of a can of soda when they're just born. She's a little bigger than a newborn, but they do have those beautiful blue eyes. Damn it, WAF, go the hell away. Um, for whatever damn reason, when I am doing stuff now, this is the only damn time YouTube tells me if you people are interacting with me or anybody I'm following is doing shit. I'm like, screw off! But they won't do it because I can't get in there and fix my settings now. If I'm just passively watching YouTube, they don't tell me shit. If I'm just passively doing something on my computer, they don't do me shit. If I'm recording, that's when I have to tell myself, screw off. So, I'm actually in a good mood, but I'm like, I'm tired of your shit, YouTube. So, Lil Wolf came. And that's one thing that was kind of like Odin's message of learning to tell people to screw off, and there's no other way to tell it to people because people want everything from you. Have you ever started watching one of those channels? And I don't mean people asking for Patreon or asking for support and hitting the goddamn microphone because I'm taller now. And in a good mood. They can never stop asking for enough support. Like, buy this book, buy this hoodie, buy this thing, buy this dot, da 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 da. Follow me on these 12 different platforms, and you're just emotionally exhausted. And after a while, you're like, I really like you, but I don't have the time for this. It really opened my eyes when I found out it was common for especially younger people to have 400 or 500 channels they follow. Which is why you don't see their ass except for like once or twice a year when they're checking in. They're like, oh my god, I'm so far behind. YouTube is not the YouTube that I started with, where there weren't as many channels for one. And when you got followers, they were usually adults because kids had better shit to do back then, like playing outside. And you had consistent, mature followers who were there. And they pretty much watched every video, and you built up a quiet following, but it wasn't you know, huge thing. And it wasn't monetized. If you did YouTube back then, you did it because you genuinely wanted to. There was no such thing as monetization. If YouTube had remained unmonetized, guys, I can tell you right now, it would still be small as it was years ago. Money is what attracted people. When they start saying, hey, look what I got, people are like, I have to do YouTube. So a lot of doing the manifestation and doing the healing work that I've been doing is learning to recognize when people are asking too much of you. And this can come out from a lot of different people. And sometimes it comes out from a charity. Like I said, I love this particularly charity group and they do all this great stuff. But now they're starting to get on my last goddamn nerve because it's constantly support, 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 support. Please share this video. Please do this. Please come watch this Q&A. Please do this. Please do that. Come see our Facebook chat. Come do. I don't have the emotional time to invest in this thing. I have other things I'm doing. I'm working on my healing. I'm working on the channel. I'm working on doing other stuff. And you have to learn sometimes, because I've actually been on the fence of when to tell those people no. I love your work. I think it's great that you make 12 million fox videos or bear videos or whatever you do. But I don't have the time for you. And you're becoming a sap on my energy, and you kind of have to recognize that. And the weird thing is, a lot of charities and a lot of the New Age and a lot of paganism is filled with that. And you would think it would be this very holistic group, and everybody would be supporting everyone else, and everybody would be sending everybody else energy. But if they're perpetually whining that they're not getting enough support, and they're perpetually sticking their hand out and saying, we need more donations, we need you to buy more merch, or we need something else, then sometimes you have to set up a boundary and say, no, I can't support you all on my own. My pockets aren't that deep. And they have to learn too that, you know, it's more, I've been watching Jordana Van, it's true though, but it's more a thing of the universe is supporting you, or Loki is supporting you, or whatever. You will drive yourself crazy, for example, if you have a YouTube channel and you're going to wait for the magical Deep Pockets patron to arrive and rescue you, because for most people that's not going to happen. And what's going to drive you crazy is while you're waiting, 12 million people seem to have those Deep Pocket patrons that they're like, oh my god, this person just donated $200, this person donated $500, and you're sitting there like, I'm not getting $500 a month patrons, what am I doing wrong? I have no idea. That's just how the universe is working out for them. If it's not working out for you, it's clearly not going to work out. We've been talking about Patreon behind the scenes, and I said, I don't mind, by the way, for you patrons, don't get scared. I don't mind doing what I do, but I'm at the point where I'm like, you have to decide when you feel like you've done enough to compensate people that are supporting your channel. When that started out, I had a clear vision. I told everyone, you will get stuff occasionally, but you're not paying me to personally work for you and then go work on the channel. You're actually paying to support the channel. Some people are understanding, and whatever I feel like posting, they're really great, and those are the kind of supporters you want. But every so often you get that person that's like, oh hell no, I gave you a whole $1. You're supposed to make me 20 hours of content a month at least. And you're like, what? Now, I've never had somebody say that to me, but I have had people say on their exit surveys, well, they weren't doing enough for me. Okay. And I've had people who, if they donate $1, will say, here are all the problems in my life, I want you to solve them. And I say, I'm not a healer. It's not my job to sort your stuff out. We all have to sort our own stuff out. A healer, the best they can do is lead you in the right direction. They can't actually heal you. I know I destroy your life every day. I take after Loki. And, that's the thing, guys. We have to empower ourselves to do the work for ourselves, because nobody's going to rescue us, especially not Loki. Loki can lead us in the right direction, but he won't do the work for us. And if we're trying to run ahead of ourselves and do too much at once, he'll be the first one to smack it down. Like, he knows he burned his bridges. When it comes to manifesting, he burned his bridges because his job, his divine role, was to smack the hell out of it because I wasn't ready for it. So every time I'd be doing something, he'd come over and smack the shit out of it. And Now he knows I'm to the point where I just don't trust him because I know his divine function is anytime I get any ideas that he doesn't approve of, smack, 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 and they won't work. Odin is the facilitator. Odin's the one that, yes, this is sensible. Yes, I need you to work at this. Don't worry about Loki. Don't be looking for where he is. We're working on this together. You're going to get this. And Loki just comes over and he's this firm, unsmiling energy, and he's like, what are you working on? What are you manifesting? Odin's like, we're doing this. You shut up and you go stand over there. And Loki's like, fine. Sometimes Loki will never feel we're ready for something. And it can be an adjustment for, it's been an adjustment for me when you go from Loki just telling you no, 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 to going to Odin, and Odin's like, yes. You can have a lot of stuff to work with. And Loki wasn't being cruel, but Loki understands better than anyone. If you're not ready for something and you get it, you're going to lose it. It sounds weird because we all think, well, and I used to be the biggest skeptic on manifesting. We think, well, if I really, really want it, why aren't I manifesting it overnight? I used to use the example, because I hated manifesting, of, well, toddlers should manifest everything. There's a difference between wanting and screaming for something. And I had to learn this from Loki smacking the hell out of all my wants and I need it now. And being ready to accept it. Because we have to do all the shadow work of, why do I not have this? And why do I think, if I think I deserve it, why do I think I deserve it? And not, oh, I deserve that, that's mine, give it to me. I deserve this because the universe wants me happy, or the gods want me happy, or everyone should be happy, or whatever, legitimate feeling we get. There's a difference between thinking you can just go grab something and it's yours, and that's it. That's a toddler stage. That's why toddlers actually can't manifest shit, because the universe doesn't work like that. If toddlers had the self-control, and they don't, to... Look, it's like, tell them the cookie story. Tell them the cookie story, yeah. It's a great story. There was this toddler, and we were at Eaton Park, and they give you these smiley cookies. And a toddler wanted to eat their cookie now, okay? And they only give them one. They only give them one because they're used to having children come into this restaurant, and they've seen what children do with cookies, and they're like, they can have one free. You can't have 5 because the child keeps tossing them up in the air. Well, because they told the child that the child could not have the cookie right now, they had to go eat, or they had to wait to the car. The little kid screamed and jammed it into the bag, because they gave him this cookie in a bag to go. Jammed it straight through the bag, and it fell on the floor and broke. And broke in 8 pieces, and the kid started to scream and jump up and down and roar, and he wanted the cookie. And they came out and they cleaned it up, and the parents were like, no, you don't get another one, because you obviously need to learn that if you break shit that you had he learned a little self-control and waited 30 seconds. Now, some people might say, that's mean. You should just give him another cookie. If you've never seen a toddler have a meltdown, he could have got 8 goddamn cookies who'd all been on the floor. Because he was just in that mode of, I'm gonna pitch a fit, and he was stomping on that cookie and doing all this illogical shit. That's the ego, and that's why children can't manifest shit. Manifesting it would be wanting that cookie. Especially if you're an adult and you're like, why are the kids getting all the cookies? I'm paying for this damn meal. You really want that cookie. And you go, well, can I buy one cookie? I know I'm an adult and I know they're free for kids, but can I buy one cookie? And maybe the waitress likes your positive flight attitude, brings you a cookie. Or maybe she says, yes, you can, and you have to pay $1 or so for it, but you get your cookie. In the end, manifesting is about being open and being mature, and you want this thing, but you know you can't just go up and grab it before it's going to come to you, and that's the difference. And it's also working out all the icky stuff. Like in the example of the child with that goddamn cookie, he had to work out those tantrums. Children all go through it. They have to work out that crazy shit, and then they'll move on to be more mature, and they'll be able to be handed a cookie and take it and go to the car and enjoy their cookie. And for us too, we have to work out all the negatives of we were told we'd never make it on our own, or we were told we couldn't marry that person, or we were told we couldn't have that job, or we were told we couldn't be a success if like our Patreon supporters didn't give us $5 million, or whatever crazy thing, and we didn't make it to the top of YouTube or write a best-selling book or whatever the hell. We have to work past all that shit, and it takes a lot of time. And I'm working on a lot of stuff at once. Most of us are. And Odin's consistently telling me, you have to put it in my hands. I know what you want. I know what you need better than you do. Just put it in my hands. Because I had a breakdown yesterday. I had been making all the steady progress. And then, out of nowhere, I decided what I really wanted to do, guys, is go live in the mountains because my goddamn neighbors are driving me crazy. And the only thing that's going to make me happy is to live in the mountains away from asshole humans. And I'm totally miserable and nothing's going to ever manifest. You're going to have days like that. You're going to have days where your asshole neighbors are getting on your last damn nerve, because I was thinking, I'd love to manifest a garden to eventually build up this yard till it's a beautiful garden and there's no lawn mowing whatsoever. And I thought, well, what's the point? Because my neighbor's got 5-finger discount up the wazoo, and anything nice you put in your yard that he wants, he will just come get it. And he knows the cops aren't going to come out, and he knows you're not going to take him to court for a plant. And he's just greedy. And I'm thinking, well, this would have to all manifest overnight, because a guy that cuts my lawn has, we all know, 2 modes. Don't do shit or run over everything. There are no other modes for this guy. This asshole is usually drunk off his ass, but he's the only person I can find that will come consistently. So it's a lot of, as you're working towards manifesting whatever you're dreaming about, there's a lot of roadblocks in the way, and it just takes time, and you have to have trust in Loki or Odin. Loki burned his bridges with me. He knows he did. He said that was my job, that was my function, and still my function to have my lighter in my pocket. Anytime I think you're getting out of hand, I'm just gonna go, psh, and I'm like, okay, that's fair. And Odin's like, that's pretty much his divine function. That's why we call him, Destroyer of Worlds, World Breaker, whatever fancy title we give him. I call him the Fox because he will just tear shit to shreds if he thinks you don't need it. And it doesn't matter how expensive it was or how much you love it. Now, it's not always Loki, but if it's not in the divine timing, he'll make sure he'll do the universe's job and make sure you don't have it for very long. And I've also noticed he's karma. Have you ever found something beautiful out, like a gorgeous belt or something, in, say, the women's room or somewhere else, or you found a book at a coffee shop or something, and you knew you should take it up, and you knew you should turn it into someone? Oh my god, it was so good. Damned if you didn't lose something you valued just as much if you keep it, right? Like a day or so later, you lose something, like you lose your purse, or you lose this, or you lose your after a while, you learn, don't take shit that don't belong to you, because there's a difference between finding a gift and you find it and you know you can keep it, and there's a difference between finding something and just knowing, oh, this is important to someone, I really shouldn't keep it. And every single time I've kept something I knew I shouldn't keep, Loki was karma. Loki was like, one time I was in McDonald's. I don't know why I'm telling you this story, but I was in McDonald's and I had this Ed Harley cap on. I love this cap, and it was an expensive cap. And I set it down, And long story short, I had just got up from the table and I just went back. By the time I got to the car, I realized my cap was missing. Do you know, by the time I got back in there, my cap was gone? And nobody knew where it went to. It was so mysterious. And we looked everywhere. I looked under the tables and everything else. My cap was gone. And I told Loki about it one time. He goes, remember that belt you saw like 15 years ago and you really liked that belt and you saw it in the women's room and instead of turning it in, you kept it because you just did? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, karma's a bitch. So am I. So that's a life-affirming story about working with Loki. But luckily, we got our wolf today. So we did get to Woofles. And I did, like I said, leave the honest feedback because she was squished. She was squished. Who got squished as Woofles? And, I knew from experience from my mom doing Avon that you can't just be overly sweet with women because they go, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Bullshit. You're a businesswoman. You're going out the stores, you're buying the shit, you're keeping an inventory, you're selling it on eBay. You're a businesswoman. Don't do stay-at-home mom on me. I knew because my mom was a businesswoman too, and so am I to a point with this YouTube channel. So it's all good. And the other wolves are on their way. The one wolf, it like kept listing it as just town name, and I'm like, is this a country I don't know? No, do you know what? It's a Pennsylvania wolf. And I've actually been in this town that it's coming from. And the woman's selling off her collection to pay her bills, so her wolf, her beloved Woofle, will stay in Pennsylvania at least. And it's probably not all that far away, but it's still going to take a while to get here because Pennsylvania post office, very slow. And the other wolf that started off in Colorado is still in Colorado. He's been in Denver for 2 days now. He's just hanging out in Denver. He likes it there, I guess. So it's going to take a while to get everything, but that's kind of like manifesting too. Just because you want it today doesn't mean you're ready for it today. It will arrive when it arrives. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.